Hello, welcome to this arena stage and our first conference, and brought to you from Condenas, Spain. I'm going to introduce you our keynote speaker, Marie-Claire Daveu. Marie-Claire Daveu is the Chief Sustainability Officer and Head of International Institutional Affairs at Kering, a group of luxury and sport and lifestyle brands that include Gucci, Bottega Veneta, Saint Laurent, Alexander McQueen, Stella McCartney, Puma, and many others. She will be, as I told you before, our keynote speaker in this Condé Nast fashion track here at South Summit in Madrid. Please welcome Marie-Claire Daveu.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to begin saying that I'm very delighted to join you in Madrid for the South Summit. I hope you agree that it's appropriate that I have been invited to speak on innovation, because fashion, particularly luxury fashion, is famous for its inventiveness. In fact, we are known for our constant reinvention. However, there is one topic that applies to all businesses. It is sustainability. I would like to show you today that we need to do business in a different way. We are all responsible for conducting business ethically, sustainably, and openly. And of course, we all need to grow profitability at the same time. As businesses, we are accountable to our customers, to our employees, and to our investors. In my view, we must also be accountable for the impact our business activities have on the environment. In fact, we have a critical responsibility to make things ethically. There is no other option, because the future is clear. Climate change will continue to reduce the natural resources we rely on. This view of our future can either cause alarm, or if you change your mindset, it will create opportunities and even brand value. Our CEO and chairman, François-Henri Pinault, is fully convinced that sustainability creates value by offering new business development opportunities and also stimulating innovation. It also enables the development of a more resilient business model in the long term. We are not focused on sustainability, and it's very important for me to share that with you, in order to attract, I will say, new customers at Kering, even if the reality is that today customers are starting to demand more transparency and responsibility. And my personal feeling is it will only increase during the next years. Take a look at the millennials, or in other words, what we can call the new consumer. They expect to know information about the brands they purchase, and sometimes also expect to be able to give input and feedback to these brands, whether they are doing the right thing or the not right thing. And they expect, it's very key, they expect them to change. We should all recognize what we can call, between brackets, our buying power, and help influence change for the better. So you will understand easily that with all these reasons, we have a responsibility as businesses to become more sustainable. And those of you who are not yet convinced or have startups and feel they cannot allocate funds towards sustainability yet, I can tell you that the investment community's interests may change your mind. It may be early days, but it's clear that investors, from individual shareholders to institutions, are looking at ways to direct their funds towards companies that show their sustainability commitment. More than ever, they are looking at what we call to the ESG criteria, in other words, sustainability credentials, to evaluate their investment, and they are at the beginning at looking at companies that perform well under ESG criteria. In fact, there is more and more evidence that a business which integrates sustainability is not only perceived in a better way by investors, but also by the consumer. And we can say also, and we have the example operationally at Kering level, that it also provides better returns over the long run. All this incentive can drive transparency in a company. We now see how companies can be rewarded for being transparent on their progress toward becoming more sustainable. At the beginning, our interest in transparency was more, to be honest, about risk management and also related to reputation. But now, it is also about benchmarking leadership, driving business value, and sharing solution and innovation. The new type of radical transparency has been a driver for corporate sustainability, and we embrace it at Kering level. For us, transparency is sharing the actions we are taking and the progress we are making to reduce our impact. But we also go a significant step beyond. We are sharing the knowledge we gain on our journey and open sourcing the tools and also all innovations we are developing to reach our sustainability goals. This is fundamental to our philosophy and our strategy. Why? Because we have the feeling that globally, we can't not progress beyond incremental change to the transformational change we need without transparency. As business, we need to collaborate and find radical, intelligent solutions to our global challenges. And if all the companies declare what they do in a transparent fashion and share innovation, this can lead to a broader, what we can call, learning network on how to progress and how to scale new sustainable business models. Take, for instance, a very concrete example developed inside Kering, what we call our environmental profit and loss accounting. It was a tool where we can say we were pioneer. It lets us to measure and monetize our footprint across our entire supply chain, all the way back to where we source our raw materials. The EP&L highlights the most important areas to focus on, to find new solutions where it matters most. It helps us also to prepare for the future risk and resource availability. And instead of leveraging it for short-term competitive advantage, we feel it was our responsibility to share our EP&L methodology with our peers and also to wider industries. For us, the EP&L has been really what we can call a game changer. Once we fully understood our environmental impacts and dependency across our supply chain, we began building more stable and resilient supply chain. I would like to say that you know already, but in luxury, quality and quantity are really important. And you know, you can see all over the world that now the climate change is already having an impact on the availability and on the quality of raw materials. And it just makes sense to understand, protect, develop these resources if you want, I will say, to continue your business. Imagine leather, imagine cotton, imagine gold, imagine precious stones, imagine bamboo. Everything is coming, what we can call, from, I will say, the natural ecosystem. That's why we are focused on finding opportunity to source more sustainably. And to end, I will say my speech, I would like to share with you 2 concrete examples that allow us to say we can make the link between an innovation and a methodology and something very operational in the company all over the world. We are working, for example, on our cashmere supply chain in Mongolia to promote more sustainable grazing system. This will lead to the regeneration of grassland and help to stop desertification in Mongolia. We are also ensuring that our sourcing of precious skins, such as python and crocodile, is done in a sustainable way in regards to conservation and human method. And of course, don't forget also, we try to also maximize these benefits to local people. We are not doing this kind of work alone. We are working with NGOs, with university, and also, I will say, with local governments. We all have, and I'm fully convinced by that, the opportunity to evolve, to innovate, and to collaborate. Other examples really link with our processes. Take, for instance, Gucci and Bottega Veneta's metal and chrome-free tanning significantly was able to reduce water use by about 30%, but also to save around of 20% in the energy consumption. Now, let's have a look, I will say, as a last example, that is the most common raw material used by our brands, cotton. But consider today organic cotton instead, I will say, conventional cotton. A recent study we funded with other industry players said that nearly 80% reduction of the environmental impact can be done by using organic cottons in comparison with conventional cotton. I will say it's not so difficult, you can tell me, but it's also something we have to keep in mind. You need to have, I will say, the high level of quality. So that's why also you have to create, I will say, new supply chain. And we are very happy because at Stella McCartney alone, it represents already 65% of all their cotton use. To finish, I will say what I would like to share with you, it's more to say I would like also that you will be convinced by putting in place sustainability whatever you are and whatever you are doing. It's to say that all this kind of type of solution that will restore and protect the natural resources we all rely on are really key. And I think really when you combine with a cross-industry collaboration and transparency, you can say that the new possibilities are endless. It's all about doing business in a different way and deciding to change now to prepare what we can call the future. All we have, I will say, how can I say that we have really a greater responsibility as businesses to do so, at the same time, as I said at the beginning, in an ethical manner, but also in a sustainable manner. That's why I'm really convinced that our future success depends on it, depends on our decisions, depends on our innovation, and on our transparency. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie-Claire. It was so interesting. We are having a small 10-minute session of questions and answers. So please, I have a microphone here, and if somebody wants to make a question to Marie-Claire, please. Hello. I'm going to pass the yes.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your speech. I would like to know how do you think fast fashion is affecting sustainability for the fashion industry? Because I think it's important, and more fast fashion industry will affect, I think, in a negative way, the sustainability of the supply chain in fashion? Thank you.
First, we have to be convinced by a few figures. When we are speaking about our industry and about the textile industry, you have to know that it's the second most polluting sector in the world after oil and gas industry. So when we are speaking about textile, and I won't speak about, I will say, the different kind of industry beyond textile, but textile industry, it's really a very polluting industry. So it means everyone has to make some efforts. So from the luxury side up to the fashion industry. And I am also convinced, because I am, I will say, I began to work on the sustainability field now, I will say, in 1980. So I will say that I am able to see also the evolution in all sectors and also in the luxury, in fast fashion. I have really the feelings that also fast fashion is, I will say, more and more involved in, I will say, taking into account what we can call sustainable criteria. After, what is sure is, I think, as a luxury company, we have a specific responsibility, because you know that luxury sets the trends. So if we are saying, as Kering and also as a luxury company, we are really taking into account not only, I will say, the social side, but also the environmental side, and you have the feeling that it's great to invest some money, it's great to, I will say, people to work on sustainability field, it will also give the example to the fashion industry, and I hope also to other sectors, to really integrate sustainability. After fashion industry or not fashion industry, I always have the same answer. There is no option. It's really a necessity to integrate sustainability. So I'm really also convinced that fast fashion, I will say, will integrate more and more what we can call sustainability in their strategy, and also, I will say, how they have to source their raw materials. Again, it's not a question saying that I want or I don't want. You won't have the choice if you continue to develop your business. But as luxury, if I can say like that, I think for me what is key when we are speaking about sustainability is the fact that sustainability is really inherent to our quality of our product, because we are not speaking only about, I will say, savoir-faire, about heritage, but it's also from the beginning something we try to develop, to say we want to take care of people and of the planet, because we think that we have this kind of specific responsibility when we see also, I will say, the price of our products.
Por ahí, por favor, hay un micrófono. There's another question.
Thank you. Can you tell us if you have a specific policy in place or strategy on collaborating with startups? And if this is a way for you to bring innovation in your sustainability policy? Thank you.
No, it's okay. No, alors, I think working with other people when you are, and I come back to startup, it's really key. Because if you want, when we are speaking to put sustainability at the core of the business strategy, it's not only, as I tried to explain you, not to do only incremental progresses, but it's really to change the paradigm. And to change the paradigm, we are convinced that alone we are not able to do it. So at the same time, it's working with universities, because you have also to invest on the R&D, I will say, projects. So R&D projects linked with processes, or R&D project linked to be able to identify new sustainable raw materials. And after, of course, startups are key. And I can give you a concrete example. We invest now 2 years ago in a startup called Worn Again. And I will say it's really the beginning of the story, because the goal of this startup is to be able to separate fiber of cotton and fiber of polyester, to, I will say, put in place a process that at the end of the day, you will have with all fabric, all textile, a new fiber. And when you are speaking about sustainability in the field of the textile, we can say that the holy grail is the fact to be able to do a new fiber with a very old fiber, and you have what we can call a 360 approach. So yes, we are doing that. And with, I will say, the impulsion of our CEO and chairman, François-Henri Pinault, we are thinking also to develop and to invest more in startups or pilot projects where we can bring something very operational in the sustainability field in our sector. So we have, I will say this example with On again, because I think it could be make a revolution. I can't disclose another example, but I have in mind a very concrete other example that we try to evaluate. And if we are able to work with them, it could make really a strong difference. So, of course. But not only startups, you have understood, universities, NGO, and of course, startups. And what I would like also is to use, because we are speaking today about innovation, it's also the way of thinking innovation that we develop on the digital side. It will be great also to be able to create this kind of net and this kind of spirit in the sustainability field.
Some questions? Some other questions? Yes. Here. Please. Microphone here in the first row.
Okay. I would like to ask that some of the sample you just tell are amazing, but in-house, is it very difficult to evangelize? Because I think that to put in place this kind of initiative and you need, in a traditional company, it's like things are done the way it's always been done. At least it happened in a lot of companies. Is it difficult to evangelize?
When we are speaking about sustainability, and I will make also the comparison with digital, we are speaking about change management. So it's very change management approach you have to develop inside the company when you want to develop, I will say, digital or sustainability. So you can really make the comparison. After, I don't say what it's not easy in our company, but what it's, I will say, makes really the difference is when you have the top management really convinced by the topic. Again, same thing for sustainability and same thing for digital. So I won't say under the pressure, but really under the positive and the right pressure of our CEO and chairman, of course, it helps to implement sustainability. Now, to be honest with you, I am also convinced when you train people, when you explain people, and when you are also able to make the link with the risk management approach, I will say that all our CEOs are convinced now by the fact, again, that sustainability is not an option, but it's a real necessity. If we are only speaking about, I will say, the environmental side, when you are looking about the most important issue of our century, I don't know if no one can say that it won't be climate change, resource scarcity, and loss of biodiversity. Because after, for example, when we are speaking about social issues such as migrants, we know that a big part is linked and will be linked also with the effects of climate change. So at the top of everything, I think we can put this kind of issue. So diagnosis, I will say, is really shared by everyone. After, which kind of actions you have to implement? We don't have all the answers. That's why, for example, when we are speaking to remove all the most hazardous chemical products, okay, perhaps for 60% of them, we have the answer. For 40%, we need to continue to do research, okay? After the topic, it's also to be able to really implement all the process at scale in the company. So we have to accept that it won't be done in one night, but as we always use this word in English, journey, it's a long journey, but what is important is to really create the dynamic inside the company and to be able also to see that every year you are making, I will say, strong progresses. What is key, and we didn't have the time to develop, it's a revolution, so I invite you to go on our website with the methodology EPNL. It's really something that we have created also to be able to measure, I will say, what we are doing and also to measure our progresses. And as we are speaking not about ton of CO2, we are not speaking about land use, but we give a monetary value. We have also a common language that I will say it's really key to support us also to convince, I will say, the most business people in the company. But again, and the other reasons, when we are speaking risk management approach, I know that there was some investor I saw them this morning, linked with the risk management approach, we have more and more questions linked with the sustainability topic, where your raw materials are coming from. Are you sure that you will be able to have, I will say, the right quality and the right quantity in mid-term, in long term? So many questions. Even if you are not speaking about sustainability, they are really linked with the sustainable criteria. So it's not easy, but I think we are really on the right way. And again, when we are saying that we are sharing everything, it's not to do, I will say, communication, or it's not to do greenwashing. It's only the fact that even if Scaring, it's a big company, we are convinced that alone, we are not able to change the paradigm. So we are not saying that we are the best and we are making the revolution, but we try really for our sector to put, I will say, few milestones and saying if we invest a lot of money and a lot of time of our people, perhaps it's great for you to use, I will say, our innovations. Oui, je peux, si vous voulez, si on veut, c'est comme vous voulez, comme vous voulez.
No sé si hay otra pregunta aquí en esta tercera línea, por favor. Bueno, hay otra persona.
Es que la ha dado mi compañera.
Hi, how you convince your customer to don't lose to don't lose the quality with the with your new system?
So your question is,
how you communicate to your customer that you don't lose the quality?
Alors, first, is that's why I will say to put in place sustainability in luxury, it's something tough, because you have to be sure that your product will become sustainable and your processes will become, I will say, more sustainable without losing of quality. Quality, I will say, it's a request, it's a basic request when you are in luxury. When you are selling a luxury product, you are, I will say, at the highest level of quality. So quality, it's not an option. After how we are communicating and speaking with our consumer, we don't do that to speak to our consumer directly. So our communication is more, I will say, corporate communication at the level of the group or corporate communication at the level of the brand. Take an example about Stella McCartney. Is one of the most sustainable brands, and she's not doing, I will say, a lot of marketing or a lot of communication directly to his or her consumers. So it's more something that we share at the level of the corporate. What it's interesting for us to see if in the boutiques we have more and more questions that are coming from the customers. And it's not only in Western countries, but it's true all over the world. So, for example, when I was speaking about pythons or crocodiles, I don't say that every day we have 100 questions about where your python is coming from, but if you make a comparison between now and 5 years ago, I can tell you that our employees in boutique tell us that they have now more and more questions. Also about chemicals. And I can say that we have a kind of new topic that is increasing, and I think it's really also great that consumers are more and more conscious. It's about animal welfare. Again, all over the world now, we have more and more questions to be sure that we take care about, I will say, animals. So, customer, it's a little bit specific, and when you are in the luxury sector, when you are, I will say, a client and you buy a luxury product, you buy, I will say, something that is perfect. So for them, and that's why I was saying sustainability is really inherent to the quality, for them it's already, I will say, in the DNA of your product. So you have to assume that, so that's why also you have to be perfect on the environmental side and on the social side. After what it's also important, you are speaking about customer, but in our company, as we want to develop our business, we want also to hire, I will say, the best people all over the world. I can tell you that we have more and more questions about, I will say, new employees that join the group or would like join the group about which kind of commitments Kering has on the sustainability field. And again, what I think is very interesting, it's the fact that it's not only coming from Western countries. When you are in China and also in China mainland, you have this kind of question. When you are in Hong Kong, they ask this kind of question. So it's something key that, that shows that really sustainability is becoming, I will say, a key driver all over the world.
Okay. There's another. Yes, one last question.
Okay, perfect.
No, as you like, because
perfect.
the public is really excited about hearing you, and we have another question.
Thank you very much. My name is Marcio Viegas. I'm the founder of Sustain. We do advisory on sustainability. Issues like climate change are really urgent. Precisely today, we start counting the 30 days to get the Paris Agreement into force. My question to you is about the dilemma of going too fast, because we have to move fast as the chief of states and everybody, they are now telling us they have approved this agreement in a supersonic speed. And your consumers, because you're saying that you're getting questions from your consumers. We, in our experience, we're quite cynical. Consumers are not, in general, asking questions about things like climate change, more on animal welfare. And so how fast can you go? And precisely what you just said, the dilemma between quality and sustainability, because sometimes if quality is your number one priority, sustainability is automatically your number 2 or 3 or whatever. So how do you face those dilemmas at Kering? Thank you.
First, climate change and the customer. Again, we can be pessimistic, or we can be optimistic, or we can be realistic. Okay, I am an engineer. I try to be realistic and not to put too much passion. What we can say is that today, my feeling, and I'm not only speaking about luxury consumers, but really the feeling of people is changing. So perhaps we can have the question that I will say is not as fast as we want, but again, make the comparison between today and only 5 years ago, it's really changing. And when you see what happened during the COP21 by, I will say, companies, by also, I don't say consumer, by citizen, I think it's really changing. After, you have also to explain what does it mean and how make also the link between climate change and, I will say, the daily life of people. Because look at health. Today, people are more also aware about the pollution because they have clearly understood which kind of impacts pollution can have on their health. So look how they challenge car industries, food industries. After, you have also, I will say, to raise awareness about the effect of climate change, because today we are speaking for the next 25 years, and you know also that people are thinking short term. So it's a question also to train people and to make also, I will say, a coherence between pollution, climate change, and what does it mean on your life. After, at the level of caring, we have dilemma. And that's why I will say I was speaking about change management. I don't say that it's easy, okay? But what is key for us, it's really to say we have identified this issue and we tackle this issue. And I think, again, because we are in luxury, so I won't speak for all the industry, but we have also, because our volume are not so huge, because I will say we are already working with a high level of quality, we can manage quality and sustainability. And a very concrete example, I was speaking about tanning process. You know that it's a very old process when we are speaking about tanning. When you are doing classical tanning, you are using heavy metals, and you are producing hexavalent chromium. And hexavalent chromium, it's not at all good for the health of people and for the health, I will say, on the ecosystem. We work with universities, we worked with tannery, and we were able to identify 2 different kinds of processes, economically viable, and with the same level of, I will say, the highest quality we are expecting from a luxury product. But one day, we decided to invest. So again, I don't say that it's easy, but if the company wants, they are able to implement. And I think also in front of the governments, in front of public authorities, also the private sector has a specific responsibility to show that they can demonstrate operationally that it's possible. Again, caring, it's not an NGO. So we have, I will say, to earn some money and to show that you can be profitable and you can be sustainable. And I think it's really something that private sector has to demonstrate, because when you are in the local authorities, okay, it's a little bit theory. When you are in private sector, you have to demonstrate you can continue to do business, you can be profitable, and at the same time, you can take care of the planet and of the people. So that's why, for me, what is key, it's really the mindset and really the fact that you want really to change the thing. Sometimes people are saying that it's not possible, it will cost a lot. Sometimes it costs a lot, but when you invest in renewable energy or you reduce your consumption of energy, you make some economies. So at the end of the day, for your P&L, it's also a question of equilibrium. But of course, if you're only using the way of thinking, the way of doing today, and you say it will become sustainable without accepting, I will say, strong changement in your organization or in your way of thinking, you won't do anything. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.